Hey, good morning. This is Dave Ashby from Trinity, and I want to share a thought with you this morning. As many of you know, most of you know, my wife passed away about 4.5 months ago, and I'm human. I've struggled. I've been up. I've been down. I've been all around, and candidly, I have tried to read everything I can get my hands on, especially in the Bible, that would help me. And I found the most unique person in the Bible that's been a help to me, and her name, yeah, it's a she, her name is Anna. We meet Anna in Luke chapter 2, in the middle of the Christmas story. And the Bible tells us she had been a widow for 84 years. Can you imagine that? Now, that tells me that, number one, she was widowed at a very young age. She was left alone. It tells me, secondly, that she spent the rest of her life, humanly speaking, by herself without a partner in her life. And thirdly, it tells me she must have had something that sustained her and got her through. And I want to be honest with you, as I have read the story and thought about it. In fact, the Bible says in Luke chapter 2, I believe it's verse 37, it says, Anna did not leave the temple, serving God night and day with fasting and prayer. In other words, whatever she felt, whatever pain she dealt with, whatever loneliness she dealt with, whatever disappointment she felt with. And by the way, there are a lot of things, not just the death of a spouse. There are a lot of things in life that can disappoint us, and disappointment can become a catalyst to make us turn aside. But in the midst of her disappointment, the Bible tells me that she did not turn aside from the temple. In other words, she did not turn aside from the things of God. She served him night and day in the temple. She was faithful in the middle of her sadness, in the middle of her sorrow, in the middle of her loneliness, in the middle of her discouragement. She was faithful in the things of God. And by the way, not only was she faithful in the things of God, but secondly, when she found Jesus, as she had been faithful in the things of God, she followed him. Read the passage. In verse 38, it tells us that Mary and Joseph had brought their brand new baby boy, Jesus, to the temple. And the Bible says, and at that time, Anna came in, she saw him. And she praised God, and she spoke about the child Jesus to everyone who hoped in Jerusalem to be set free, who hoped for Jerusalem to be set free. She told everybody about Jesus. She was committed to God. She stayed faithful to God, and that faithfulness to God led her to Jesus. And she followed Jesus. Somebody said, well, what do you draw from all that, Dave? Well, I draw that, number one, I need to be faithful to God. I need to be, no matter how I feel and the struggles I feel, and there have been a lot of struggles. And I've tried to be open and honest, not because I want you to feel sorry for me, but I want you to understand that someday, if you haven't already, someday you're going to go through a sadness, a sorrow, a disappointment, a discouragement. And you're going to have all kinds of emotions and tendencies. And the first thing I want to tell you to do, you need to stay faithful to God. And the second thing I want to tell you to do is you need to make sure that you follow Jesus. Would you do that today? Would you make the decision in your life, you're going to follow Jesus? Whatever it is you're dealing with and going through in your life, that you'll follow him. He will give you encouragement. He will give you peace. He will give you hope. God bless you. Have a great day today.